Hello and welcome to Ani's Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Burned Blueprint. The night was thick with the scent of smoke, a bitter tang that clung to the air like a shroud. Holly Arnold stood at the edge of the crime scene, her boots crunching on the gravel as she surveyed the smoldering ruins of Victor Langley's architectural studio. The fire had devoured everything, walls reduced to skeletal beams, papers turned to ash, dreams incinerated in a single, ruthless blaze. At 25, Holly was the youngest detective in the precinct, a fact that earned her more raised eyebrows than respect. But she had a gift, a razor-sharp mind that saw patterns where others saw chaos, and tonight she intended to prove it. In the center of the wreckage lay Victor Langley himself, his body cowled as if shielding something precious. His hand, blackened by soot, clutched a partially burned blueprint, its edges curling like the petals of a dying flower. Holly knelt beside him, her gloved fingers prying the paper free with care. It was brittle, fragile, but intact enough to hint at its significance. Why this design? She wondered. What made it worth holding onto in the face of death? The investigation begins. Back at the station, Holly spread the blueprint across her desk, the dim light of her lamp casting shadows over its charred surface. The design was intricate lines weaving into complex patterns, annotations scribbled in Victor's precise hand. Yet something felt off. Among the standard architectural symbols were odd markings, a triangle here, a series of dots there. They didn't belong. She frowned, tracing a finger along a faint curve that seemed to mimic the arc of the old city clock tower. A clue, perhaps. Determined to unravel its secrets, Holly sought out Professor Lydia Gray, a local historian and cryptographer whose office smelled of old books and strong coffee. Lydia adjusted her glasses, peering at the blueprint with a mix of curiosity and awe. "If this isn't just a building plan," she said. "Look at these symbols. The triangle aligns with the clock tower, the dots match the fountain in Market Square. Victor's wove a map into this design." Holly asked, leaning closer. Lydia's eyes gleamed. The crown of Ethuria, a legendary artifact hidden by the city's founder centuries ago. It's said to grant wisdom to its wearer. Victor was obsessed with it, spent years studying old city plans, chasing rumors. This blueprint, it's his breakthrough. A treasure map disguised as architecture. Suddenly, Victor's death didn't feel like an accident. Someone had wanted that blueprint and they'd killed to get it. Suspects and shadows. Holly compiled a list of suspects, each with a potential motive tied to Victor's life and work. First was Marcus Hale, a rival architect with a sleek office downtown and a reputation for ruthless ambition. He and Victor had been vying for a contract to design the city's new cultural center, a project worth millions. Losing, it could have crippled Marcus's firm. Next was Evelyn Ross, a wealthy socialite who'd commissioned Victor to design her lavish mansion. She'd been spotted arguing with him at a gala weeks earlier, her voice sharp with accusations of overcharging and shoddy work. If he promised perfection, she'd hissed. Then there was Daniel Langley, Victor's nephew, a scruffy artist with paint-stained hands and a chip on his shoulder. He stood to inherit Victor's estate, but rumors swirled of a recent falling out over money. Daniel had been living off his uncle's generosity until Victor cut him off. Finally, a witness mentioned a mysterious stranger lurking near the studio before the fire, a figure in a dark coat who vanished into the night. No name, no connection, just a shadow adding to the puzzle. Holly started with Marcus Hale. His office was old glass and steel, a stark contrast to Victor's cozy, cluttered studio. "Detective Arnold," he greeted. "I assume you're here about poor Victor, tragic, but really?" Holly asked, watching his reaction. "Meeting clients across town, a late dinner to seal a deal. You're welcome to verify it." His alibi sounded rehearsed and his fingers tapped the desk, a nervous tick. Holly filed it away for later. Evelyn Ross was next, lounging in her mansion's parlor with a glass of wine. "Yes, I argued with Victor," she admitted. "He overpromised and underdelivered, but kill him, darling. I'd sooner ruin him with a lawsuit." Her confidence was unshaken. Daniel Langley proved harder to track down. She found him in a cramped apartment, surrounded by half-finished canvases. "I didn't do it," he said before she could speak. I loved Uncle Vic. Holly pressed, recalling the witness report. He swallowed hard. I heard rumors someone was after his latest project. I went to warn him, but the fire was already raging. I couldn't get in. His fear seemed real. The blueprint secret. Back at the station, Holly and Professor Gray pored over the blueprint again. The strange markings resolved into a pattern, coordinates tied to city landmarks. The clock tower, the fountain, the old bridge, they formed a path leading to the city's abandoned library, a crumbling relic slated for demolition in days. The crown must be there, Lydia said. Victor designed a museum on this blueprint, but the real treasure is what he hid beneath it. If someone else figured this out, they'd have a motive to kill him and take the design. She dug into Victor's recent activities, uncovering a surprising detail. He'd hired a private investigator, James Carter. Holly tracked Carter down at a diner, his coat still dusted with ash from the fire scene. Victor was scared, Carter said. Said he'd stumbled onto something big and someone was watching him. I was supposed to meet him that night, but traffic held me up. He got there just as the flames took over, so he knew he was in danger. Arson, then. Murder. Her next move was to verify Marcus Hale's alibi. She called his clients, who confirmed the meeting but couldn't pin down the exact time he'd left. A gap wide enough to slip across town and back. Suspicion deepened. Then came an anonymous tip scrawled on a note slipped under her office door. Beware of Hale. He's not what he seems. Into the fire. Holly decided to act. That night she headed to the old library, flashlight in hand. The building loomed in the darkness, its windows shattered, its walls streaked with decay. She navigated the dusty halls, following the blueprint's final clue, a hidden chamber beneath the foundation. A creak echoed behind her. She spun, heart pounding, and saw Marcus Hale step from the shadows, his face twisted with greed. "You're clever, detective," he said. Victor thought he could keep the crown for himself, reveal it to the world like some noble fool. "It's mine by right." "You killed him," Holly said. "They set the fire to cover it up. He left me no choice. That contract was slipping away, and the crown, a chance to cement my legacy. I couldn't let him ruin it." He lunged. She sidestepped, grabbing a rusted pipe from the floor and swinging it to knock him off balance. They grappled, dust swirling around them, until Holly pinned him against the wall, her knee pressed into his back. "You underestimated me," she said. Big mistake. She radioed for backup. In a hidden chamber, they found it, the crown of Ethuria, a delicate circlet of gold and gems, gleaming despite centuries underground. The case closes. Marcus confessed in custody, detailing how he torched Victor's studio with gasoline and a match, believing the blueprint would burn with it. He hadn't counted on Victor's final act of defiance or Holly's tenacity. Forensic evidence sealed his fate, traces of accelerant on his shoes, a partial fingerprint on a gas can recovered from the ashes. The crown was placed in the new museum as Victor had intended, a tribute to his brilliance. Holly stood at its unveiling, her name now whispered with respect among her peers. She'd rebuilt the case from the ashes, piece by piece, proving that a young detective with a sharp mind could outshine even the darkest of mysteries. The burned blueprint, framed beside the crown, told a story of its own, of ambition, betrayal, and the unrelenting pursuit of truth. Holly smiled faintly. She'd done Victor proud. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.